This Rollbit video will be unlike any other on the net, and that's because we're not really going to be delving into the project itself that much. The purpose of doing this video is I've got a good friend who is really into this coin, and I thought it'd be a good idea to delve into it to identify any risks. And so the rest of you guys who are considering this, because it is getting some traction, it is getting some noise, isn't it, can make an informed decision as to whether A, you want to get into it, or B, if you're into it already, you want to stay in it. My promise to you is just to present the information that I have found. Some of it is technical and I am not an expert in it, so no need to have a shit fit if I've got it wrong. Equally, I welcome constructive feedback to put any inaccuracies correct, but I will present the case and I will be fair towards what I don't like about it and what I do like about it, and then my final thoughts on it. With that said, there is an argument for a coin like this, given we should be at 95 billion market. Really, this is what it's in round about now according to this information. But first of all, I'm going to start off with my concerns, okay, and then we'll move on to what I like. First of all, we'll look at holders. So on here, 65% is held in one account. As I always go on about, the less than one account is better because you risk of being dumped upon. According to CoinGecko, circulating supply matches total supply, and this says it's, if we hold this, is estimated, it's not a certainty. However, at the same time, this correlates with that information, so it looks like this is probably accurate with 60.91% out. However, your max supply obviously is quite a distance, probably 2/3, well, 40%-ish, there we go. So therefore there is still a risk from a dumping perspective, I guess, if you look at the max versus what is circulating. But given how much is already out, despite the 60%, it doesn't look that much of a concern, just in my opinion. I've seen far worse, but nonetheless I needed to highlight that to you. Next, I run Rollbit through the DeFi scanner, and it came up with unified source code as being a potential issue. Contract code has not been publicly verified, issue 1. And issue 2, proxy ungradability. This contract can be upgraded, changing its functionality. Now I'm going to elaborate on both of these two more shortly, but I also went to Dex Tools and I ran it through this system, and there are different pairs, to be transparent, but I've gone for this one off the top of my head. I think this is the most recent one, and it's give it a score out of 89 out of 99, with 99 being the highest. So this is project reliability score based on these different metrics. Move myself out of the way. So lots of green ticks, which is great. However, buy tax on these are unknown, whereas these are saying yes. This is saying proxy contract no, but this is saying yes, yes, and yes. So it would appear, given these three sources and the other one, that there is a proxy contract. I have no way of knowing for it to be 100% sure, but given 4 data sets out of 5 are saying there is, then I think it's more likely that there is. Just using common sense. All these are good, but here's the thing, it said other risks and it says yes. Unfortunately, I don't know what those risks are, but equally I need to make you aware of them. You know, make you aware that this is apparently, according to this data set, is saying yes. On the flip side, equally, to be transparent and fair, the others are saying, well, they're not giving anything, so take it for what you want. Now, to go back to these two issues that we identified earlier, the first one, unverified source code. I'm going to exercise a bit of common sense here, because this states this contract's code has not been publicly verified, whereas contract verified, this is the first thing, and look at it all, it's even got it in a shield type thing for all 4 sources. And if we click over this, whether the source code of the smart contract is accessible and has been reviewed, as in verified, So the only conclusion I can reach here is that it's not been publicly verified, but in the grand scheme of things, does that matter as long as it's been verified? So I'm not going to dwell on this, guys. That's just my view, but of course, if you want to look into it further, then by all means. But given we've got all these four saying that, I don't see that personally as a problem. Next, we'll take a look at proxy upgradability. So this contract can be upgraded, changing its functionality to see if this is an issue. Now, I did some research, and this was the best answer that I could find. So what exactly is a proxy contract, and why is there a security vulnerability involved in it? Proxy contract is a contract which delegates calls to another contract. To interact with the actual contract, you have to go through the proxy, and the proxy knows which contract to delegate the call to, i.e. the target. A proxy pattern is used when you want upgradability for your contracts. This way, the proxy contract stays immutable, but you can deploy a new contract behind the proxy contract. Simply change the target address inside the proxy contract. Therefore, it's a bit dangerous to use a proxy contract, since there are no guarantees that the underlying (brackets target) contract hasn't been changed to a malicious one. There is no strict definition on how to detect a proxy contract, but basically it's anything that delegates a functionality to another contract. You have to analyse the source code to be able to decide. Well, fuck that. Do you know what I mean? That's just not going to happen for your average investor, is it? There's some really good information here, but this video is going to be long enough, so I'm not going to go through it all, but I want to highlight this bit. Proxies are less safe non-proxied contracts if you don't trust the contract owners, since the owners can swap out the implementation at any time, screwing with their users however they want. But they are more safe than non-proxied contracts if you do trust the contract owners, since owners can fix bugs at any time. Therefore, if this guy is actually correct and it looks like he knows what he's talking about, it made sense to obviously go and then research the actual owners of this, which is what I did. This is what I found. Now, I appreciate it's only on Twitter, so take it for a pinch of salt, whatever, but here we go. Something that deserves a mention: the owner of Rollbit used to run a casino called GSGO Diamond that got exposed a few years ago for faking wins for huge influencers on their site, (brackets by giving them the rolls), fraudulently generating massive traffic. The rabbit hole goes deeper. Then there's a bit of a shit fit going on down here. The only reason this ever came out is because one of the influencers flipped on him and came clean. Without this, the scam would have gone unnoticed. Unsuspecting viewers would have thought that the large wins being shilled across social media were real. 6 minutes after my tweet, Mo deleted his original tweet that I was quoting. Luckily, I've screenshotted it. Yeah, see? Owner admitted to fraud. He wouldn't send me the rolls before they happened. He did it multiple times, even with me saying not to. And then there's also it's all kicking on here, and they're all arguing about the toss as whether they could see rolls, if not, etc., etc. The point to grasp from this is that the dude who's involved in Rollbit looks like a shady character, given his past. Does that mean that he's like it now? Of course it doesn't. But equally, as I said at the start of this video, I would be transparent and fair with my findings. So if we go back to the proxy setting of the proxy so-called issue, they're saying that they are better if you trust the owners, but then it could be an issue if you don't. Well, based on this, and again, I don't know enough about it to be able to draw a proper conclusion, but let's be honest, it doesn't look good, does it? So that's up to you to research further and decide, but that was my first impression. I mean, I haven't got all day to go heavy into this and judge this guy's character or what he's like. I think there's two of them. One's called Lucky and there's another dude. But you guys deserve to know this, which I hope you can appreciate that I'm bringing this information to you as I find it. That's it. Finally, on the things that I don't like, I found this, and I want to acknowledge this was on the 8th of August, so this may have changed, but Rollbit revamped tokenomics, raise price, but token model stays opaque. And you can read all the article, but I'm just going to bring it down to the conclusion here. Rollbit needs to provide more transparency and clarity around how the RLB burn model actually works, what revenue and profit figures they are using, explanations for any inconsistencies in the revenue numbers. Greater transparency on Rollbit's revenue model and burn mechanisms is needed to increase confidence and reassure investors about sustainability of their RLB token burn program. That said, this was always going to be a balanced and fair review as promised, and I did look in their white paper, and it appears to me they have been transparent because they've got a section called buy and burn, and you can read this, but it does state these percentages, but more to the point down here, from the bought RLB, Rollbit distributes 10% of stake to Rollbots. So it's about determining the difference between that report and this. Maybe they've been more transparent since, or maybe I've just missed something reading between the two, but it's only fair that I give this information to you in favour of Rollbit, because it appears to me at first glance that they have been transparent about it, but whether they're actually missing more information at this point, I do not know. There are just two more negatives really for me to run through. One is the content on this site, and I'll get to the second one shortly. So I've gone to this site and it ranks only, well, score should I say, only 17 out of 100, and it's only the 41st out of 303 competitors, which obviously isn't great. I'm not going to be a hypocrite because I've invested in something that ranked at 9 out of 100, just to be balanced on it, but even so, still not a great score. If you didn't see the earlier video, this is what it explains it is. So Traxon score is a proprietary score based on a company's standing against other companies. It's composed of 4 metrics: size score, execution score, growth score, and team score. So I felt you deserve to be privy to that. That said, it's also comparing it to the like of Pancake Swap. I mean, come on, it's massive, isn't it? So we've got to be realistic against who it's up against, but by all means you should look into this and make your own decisions on this, but just want to bring this to your attention. So that's been a deep dive into the negatives of Rollbit. What I'm now going to do is present the case to be balanced and fair and what I like about it. And whilst I've been looking at negatives here, it's only fair that we look at these. I mean, look at all these things that are ticked. All of them. So, general detectors, all these are ticked. Prophecy detectors. So you can see it's like 2 out of God knows how many is there, 35, 40. So it's only fair and right that I highlight that to you. First of all, it's in a market that is hugely popular, and as we've already identified, is worth 95 billion, so there's a good start for 10. Secondly, it's on nearly 27,000 watch list, always a good indicator of how popular it is. We want something that is going to have a community, obviously from a hype perspective, so that's really good. Circulating supply and total supply marry, so there's like 60% of this already out, which is, we can see here they've got 171,000, nearly 172,000 followers. They're also active only 5 hours ago, so that's, it's not a dead project. It's obviously a good thing that they're active on here. And if we go to their Discord, you can see they've got 52,000, nearly 53, and there's nearly 5,000 of them online right now. So this all bodes really well as a project, and I'd always suggest that you look at a project's socials. It's a good indicator to see how popular it is and that it's not a dead project. This is taken from their white paper. So launched in February 2020 by a team of entrepreneurs with a shared passion for online gaming, Rollbit has rapidly grown into one of the leading crypto casinos with over 1 million registered users. So to be fair to Rollbit, I need to highlight this to you, as an estimated 40 million wagered per day and more than 5 billion waged overall. From new and innovative, get my teeth right, casinos offering like bonus battles to cryptocurrencies, trading to NFTs, betting games. Rollbit has become widely recognised as the leading innovator in the industry. We have truly revolutionised what it means to be a crypto casino with our track record of success in delivering innovative features and generating new sources of revenue, including, and then they run through everything that they've done. They're obviously doing some serious numbers here, so I can see why this is getting a lot of attention as a project. And if they're the first one to do the obviously the NFT, then obviously that is a great plus to it. That is deflationary. Here, this process causes RLB to become more scarce over time, making RLB deflationary. So this is really good because obviously less coins means higher price. Finally, on the case for Rollbit, or the pros if you like, this is on their Twitter page. This, to be fair, is a bit old. It's on September 6th, but nonetheless, they're the official European betting partner of SSC Napoli, so that's obviously some good news. But also we'd like to know a project is always well funded, don't we? So we can see here that they've just raised 2.8 million as of November the 22nd. So this isn't a project that is going to run out of steam, or money should I say. We're finally at the end of the video, so if you've got this far, well done fella or lady, and you clearly like the content. So if you're not subscribed, get on it. Just saying. But yeah, we're at the end, and it is time to draw a conclusion on this. Before I get into the pros and cons, as a summary, the consensus seems to be that this go to about 550. So you're looking about 30 to 34x on this thing, if those price predictions are correct. So what we learn, on the good side of things, they are the leader, apparently, according to them. Innovative solutions, first with NFT in this capacity, bags of money, bags of investment, it's doing well, it's got a good social presence, it's got a good community, or a growing community should I say, that it can only be a good thing. You know, it's this type of thing that will lead to hype, and it's getting some coverage which will help the price raise in the bull run. So I think it'll do reasonably well, or if not exceptionally well, one or the other. So from all that perspective, I think it's pretty good. I think the site looks good. So yeah, I think it's got grounds to do well. On the negative side, there was that other risk thing that popped up on just one search. So what that is, I don't know, or even if it's accurate considering the others didn't say, but it's something mindful of. Also, there's the whole proxy contract side of things, and then the owner, and to be balanced on that, even if he is a bit dodgy, he had to pass a fit and proper test, I would imagine, if there's all that money to be invested. So you'd like to think that there'd be no danger of being fucked over, one for a better expression, or you know, as users. But equally, it is, or could be, viewed as still a concern to some. But for me, it just doesn't sit right with me putting money in someone's pockets like that. If, again, that is correct, but it appears to be given on Twitter, so it's not a coin that I naturally jump to want to be associated with, if I'm just being honest. That said, I'm in this business to make money, so if the gains were, you know, ridiculously high, I'm not saying that would stop me from doing it. I'm just saying it leaves a bit of a taste in the mouth, doesn't it? Now we know that. But ultimately, would I invest in this now? Not a chance. The X's just simply aren't there. I think there's other better plays for my money to be invested in this. Of course, if there is a significant correction, which there may be, and the price comes down significantly, thus increasing the X, so it starts to get really attractive, then of course that could change. But that's just a summary really of what stands out as the pros and cons to this thing for me. So I hope that's helped you make a informed decision, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.